Hello and welcome to Indian Masterminds. I am Bhakti Kothari. In the Indian military, some officers become famous long before they reach the top. They give interviews, their speeches go viral, their personalities become part of public discussion. But then there are officers who spend decades away from cameras, quietly moving through battle zones, command centers, military headquarters, and some of India's toughest operational environments. Lieutenant General N.S. Rajasubramani belongs to that category. And today, that quiet officer has become India's new Chief of Defence Staff. But who exactly is N.S. Rajasubramani? How did an infantry officer from the Garhwal Rifles rise to become one of the most powerful military leaders in the country? And why are defense experts saying his appointment comes at one of the most important moments in India's military history? This is the story of the general now shaping the future of India's armed forces. The journey begins in 1985. On December 14th that year, N.S. Rajasubramani was commissioned into the 8th Battalion of the Garhwal Rifles, one of the Indian Army's most respected infantry regiments. Now think about this. India during the late 1980s and 1990s was entering one of its most operationally difficult phases. Insurgencies, border tensions, counter-terror operations, internal security challenges. For young infantry officers, military life was not unfolding inside comfortable offices. It unfolded in mountains, forests, conflict zones, and forward areas where operations never truly stopped. And that is exactly the environment where Rajasubramani built his foundation as a soldier. His early years exposed him to everything that defines infantry life. Long deployments, counter-insurgency operations, high-altitude readiness, operational pressure, and the constant uncertainty that comes with frontline service. And that itself tells you something about the kind of officer he was. Low profile, minimal public noise, focused almost entirely on operational work. But what makes Rajasubramani's career different is this. He did not remain confined only to battlefield command roles. Over the years, he steadily moved into the strategic side of military leadership. He trained at the prestigious Joint Services Command and Staff College in the United Kingdom, an institution known for preparing senior officers in strategic planning and joint warfare. Later, he attended the National Defence College in New Delhi, India's premier institution for national security and strategic studies. His academic profile also grew stronger over time. He earned a master's degree connected to King's College London and pursued an MPhil in Defence Studies from the University of Madras. By this point, Rajasubramani was no longer just an infantry commander. He was becoming part of the Army's largest strategic ecosystem, and soon his career would move through some of India's most sensitive military theatres. One of the defining chapters of his career came in Jammu and Kashmir. Now, Kashmir is not simply another military posting. It is one of the most operationally intense regions in the entire country. Here, military commanders deal with infiltration, counter-terror operations, line of control tensions, intelligence coordination, troop morale, civilian sensitivities, and constant operational readiness, all at the same time. Rajasubramani served extensively in this environment, but Kashmir was only one part of the story. He also served in the Northeast, another region where military leadership demands a completely different operational mindset. Mountain warfare, insurgency management, difficult terrain, border complexities involving China and Myanmar. Together, these postings gave him something very few officers possess: operational depth across multiple conflict environments. He understood conventional warfare, he understood counterinsurgency, and he understood how military operations change depending on geography, politics, and terrain. That combination would later become extremely important. Then came one of the biggest milestones of his military career: command of 2 corps, the famous Kharga Corps. Now, within military circles, commanding a strike corps is considered a massive responsibility. Why? Because strike corps are not defensive formations. They are designed for offensive warfare during large-scale conflict. These formations include armored units, mechanized forces, artillery systems, and massive combat structures prepared for rapid battlefield operations. Khargar Corps remain one of India's most strategically important formations, especially in relation to the Western Front. And commanding it placed Raja Subramani among the army's top operational commanders. This was no longer just frontline leadership. This was theater-level military planning, large-scale warfare planning, strategic operational command, but the pressure only increased from there. Raja Subramani later became Chief of Staff of Northern Command. Now, Northern Command is one of the Indian Army's most sensitive operational commands. It oversees Kashmir, line of control sectors, counter-terror operations, and parts of the northern frontier. The role demanded coordination at an entirely different scale. Operational planning, logistics, intelligence management, deployment structures, strategic synchronization, every movement carried military implications. By now, Raja Subramani had accumulated experience across tactical warfare, operational command, and strategic coordination, something only a handful of officers achieve. Then came March 2023. He took charge as General Officer Commanding in Chief of Central Command headquartered in Lucknow. And the timing was extremely significant because India's military posture had already changed sharply after tensions with China along the line of actual control. Suddenly, mountain warfare preparedness, infrastructure expansion, logistics capability, and reinforcement planning became top national priorities. Central Command's strategic importance increased dramatically in this environment. From Himalayan preparedness to operational reinforcement capability, the command became deeply connected to India's changing northern defense architecture. And Raja Subramani was now operating at a level where battlefield readiness and national security strategy were merging together. Then came another major leap. On July 1st, 2024, he became Vice Chief of Army Staff. This is one of the most powerful appointments in the Indian Army. The Vice Chief does far more than administrative work. Procurement, force modernization, capability enhancement, operational preparedness, military restructuring, institutional reforms, all these responsibilities move through this office. And this happened at a time when warfare itself was changing rapidly. Drones were reshaping battlefields across the world. Artificial intelligence was entering military systems. Cyber warfare capabilities were becoming critical. China's military posture was becoming increasingly aggressive. At the same time, India was trying to reduce dependence on imported weapons while pushing indigenous defense manufacturing. Inside army headquarters, Raja Subramani became associated with modernization, institutional streamlining, and long-term capability planning. Again, without public theatrics, without constant media visibility, his style remained measured and understated. But inside the system, his influence kept growing. Then came the move that made the defense observers pay very close attention. After retiring from active army service in 2025, Raja Subramani was appointed military advisor at the National Security Council Secretariat. Now, this was important because the NSCS sits at the center of India's national security decision-making structure. It works closely with the Prime Minister's office, the National Security Advisor, intelligence agencies, and senior military leadership. Appointments here are based heavily on institutional trust. And many defense experts immediately saw this posting as a signal that Raja Subramani was being prepared for a much bigger strategic role. And just months later, that assumption proved correct. In 2026, the Government of India appointed Lieutenant General N.S. Raja Subramani as the country's next Chief of Defense Staff. And this is where the scale of responsibility changes completely. Because the CDS is not just the senior most military officer. The role exists to integrate the Army, Navy, and Air Force into a coordinated fighting structure. And this comes with enormous challenges. Theater command reforms, joint planning structures, procurement integration, logistics coordination, technology-driven warfare, cyber and space preparedness, artificial intelligence systems, future battlefield readiness. And remember, each military service has its own culture, priorities, and operational doctrines. Bringing them into a unified framework requires credibility, operational experience, and strategic authority. Raja Subramani enters the office carrying all three. But perhaps the most fascinating part of his story is this. Even after reaching the highest levels of India's military establishment, very little personal information about him exists publicly. There are almost no long interviews, very little is known about his family. His personal life remains largely outside the public spotlight. No carefully crafted public image surrounds him. And in an era where visibility often becomes part of leadership, Raja Subramani's rise feels very different. Inside defense circles, however, he built another kind of reputation. Calm, methodical, operationally sharp, institutionally grounded. Some officers are remembered for speeches, others are remembered for command credibility. Raja Subramani belongs firmly to the second category. And now he takes charge at one of the most critical moments in India's military evolution. China's rise has changed the strategic balance across Asia. Border tensions continue along the Himalayan frontier. Technology is redefining warfare faster than militaries can adapt. Drone warfare, cyber operations, artificial intelligence, multi domain battle strategies. These are no longer future concepts, they are today's reality. At the same time, India is attempting one of the biggest defense reforms in its history, integrating the armed forces into theater commands capable of operating as a single structure during conflict. That transformation could shape India's military future for decades, and much of that responsibility now rests with NS Raja Subramani. His story is not built around dramatic public moments. It is built around decades of movement through the military system, from battalion life to strike corps command, from operational sectors to strategic headquarters, from frontline deployments to national security planning. The infantry officer from the Garhwal Rifles is no longer just leading troops. Today he stands at the center of India's military transformation, and he is now helping shape how India prepares for the wars of the future. If you found this story insightful, do like, share, and subscribe to Indian Masterminds. I am Bhakti Kothari, and I'll see you in the next story. Thank you for watching.